Hello. I'm Daddy Luna. You can find me on Instagram, DaddyLuna_. On TikTok, I am Daddy Luna, or here on YouTube, Daddy Luna. So if you clicked on this video, chances are that you are trying to leave a relationship and you are afraid. Very normal, very natural. And you will be so surprised to know that that fear, it's so ingrained in us. It's one of the hardest things that we could do. Really, one of the hardest things to do, to cut ties with a bond that we have created for a long time, or even if we have just created it for a little time. It's all relative. Let's get started. Okay, I want to start this video by saying that what we're going to talk about is those relationships that nothing really big it's happening, nothing really crucial it's happening, and we feel we have no real or understandable reason to end the relationship other than it's just not working for me anymore, or other than I don't feel like myself here anymore, or other than I feel we're going to different places. There's many of those examples, but a lot of times, me included, I've had two big separations in my life, and I've witnessed many other people and help people through grieving and separation processes. And a lot of times, the hardest ones are the relationship where things are really well and you already have the awareness to see the beauty and the good and the power in the other person. And you understand that the other person is not necessarily doing anything intentionally bad, or is not behaving in a way that it's going to create judgment from you, but that just things are not necessarily aligning anymore. And this is really hard to do, and many people stay in the relationships for years in a sensation where they're not reaching their highest potential, where they're not being themselves, where they really know that this is not necessarily the place where they want to be, but it's not that bad. There's nothing to complain about, because a lot of people would like to have a relationship like this. A lot of people will be so happy to have a person like this person by their side. Oof. Okay, let's take a minute with this. First and foremost, we only have one life. The sacredness of that realization, right? The importance and the uniqueness of the gift that life is for each and every one of us. Yeah. Because even if there will be more opportunities to live, the feeling of knowing that this experience is unique and that there are gifts inside of me ready to be expressed, and that I did not come here to conform, to fit in, or to just do a day-by-day life that does not light me up, that does not make me shine, that does not create or empower me as a channel to express a gigantic purpose and gift that I have to give into this world. And a lot of the times when I put myself into relationships like that, no, I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. When I put myself in situations like that, in a workplace, within my family, within my children, anywhere, I am diminishing my power, I'm diminishing my light, and I'm seeing myself in a non-deserving, non-worth way. And the question is, why? Why do we do this to ourselves? Like, why do we do this to ourselves? Why fear can really paralyze us to a point where we give up on our potential? When I ask people, when I do my program, my 90-day program, and I'm not judging, I really understand this. I've lived it and I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is. And we're hardwired to avoid grief, pain, I understand why we do this. But it's my job to bring that up and refresh your mind. And hopefully, if you're here watching this video, these are the words that are going to click or are going to move something in you if you feel paralyzed, if you feel stuck. So when I do my interview for my programs, I used to get into a phone call and I would ask people, this was a really powerful question, right? I would ask people, if God forbid you passed away, you transition tomorrow, and you couldn't really do or be whatever you wanted to be or do, whatever you had laid out for yourself, okay? You couldn't reach your potential, the things that you wanted to try out. How bad would that be? Would that really be bad? And that answer usually makes people cry right away because it gives them permission to really see the importance of reaching, not even arriving, because we might not arrive to the destination, but just the trying, the reaching into whatever is calling us intuitively, right? We all know intrinsically that we have a potential that we can reach, and that if we have wasted our life because we're so afraid of being uncomfortable, or because we're so afraid of feeling pain, and gave into that and pretty much didn't reach our potential because of that, we know that feels like we're dying. Just saying okay to that, it's like we're dying. But in the day to day, as we stay in these relationships, we don't feel it because it's little by little, and because there's so many good things as well, right? Oh, but she or he is super nice, and he or she does this for me, and I have so many memories, and I have kids, and we've been here living for 20 years or 15 years, and these are that's wonderful, and we're not wanting to kill all of those memories, and we don't want to necessarily reframe or say that anything is bad with those memories. But again, let's shift our attention. Are we reaching our highest potential? Is this relationship bringing the soil that I need in order to really perform and get into my highest potential? Yes or no? Yes or no? You have that answer inside you. You have that answer inside you. And so it's really important, if we don't feel capable of taking the first step, it's really important to start really doing the introspection and the work and journaling, and keep like processing and digesting and taking your words out in a journal, in a voice note, by talking to a therapist, by talking to a coach, by talking with your friends. But make it be out of that secret thing that you've been thinking, or that thing that you've always argued with your partner, or that thing that it's sort of imploding and feeling bigger and bigger and bigger, and you feel like there's going to be a moment where you can act as if not there. Yeah. Notice this. A lot of the times this comes from, of course, a childhood wound. Because a lot of the times what we've learned from when we're kids is that we can't really express our emotions, because when we do express our anger or sadness or emotions, we're told, no, I'm not going to talk to you until you come to your senses, right? I'm not going to talk to you if you're yelling. I'm not going to talk to you if you're feeling all of that. And so we end up programming this defense mechanism within the subconscious programming of our brain when our brain is forming to do the exact same thing with our partners, to say, my emotions don't matter, and if I show them and if I act as if they're really important, I am going to be shut down, whether because I have memories of that happening with my parents. I might not even remember that, and that's okay. But remember, your body knows. Your body keeps the score. Yeah. Your nervous system knows. All of those memories, all of those traumatic responses are recorded in your body. And this is why it's so hard to sort of like ignore that pattern, because that pattern is what's orchestrating us when we don't see it. Meaning, if I then go against that pattern and start showing how I feel and make decisions to say, I don't want to be more in this relationship, my brain fires up this big alarm of danger, 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 danger. Because we've been programmed unintentionally to belong. Because to our survival brain, if we don't belong, we are in danger. And so me saying, I am out of this relationship, I've decided that I want something different, it's a huge, huge, huge alarm of danger. Besides that alarm firing up and us not knowing what to do with that alarm, so much that we already know, we don't even provoke it to fire up. So besides that alarm firing up, we're also very hardwired to avoid pain, avoid grief, avoid suffering. Most of the time, we're so afraid of those big emotions because we don't know how to handle them. All of this is in our subconscious. Yeah. So my recommendation to you is, if this is percolating in your brain and you've already have this feeling that's knocking at your door, this is your gut feeling, this is your intuition, it's not going to quiet down. And believe me, your intuition has the patience of a lifetime, right? Your intuition is going to knock softly again and again. Hey, you're not supposed to be here. Hey, this is not your place anymore. Hey, it's time to move on. Yeah. Your intuition is going to knock softly, whisper in your ear over and over and over again. It's not going to quiet down just because you are acting as if it's not there. And you already know this if you have been feeling this voice for many years. Yeah. And so make sure that you get all this out, that it's not just you and your brain having this conversation. Get it out, talk to people, write in a journal. If you're not ready, that's okay. You're not ready. But don't ignore it. Don't act as if not there. Act as if it's not there. Don't act as if your intuition doesn't know, because that has powerful and lethal consequences in your body, in your emotional matureness, in your ability to have emotional intelligence. Don't act as if you're ignoring your intuition, because one, your intuition is not going to get tired of it. And two, your intuition is here to co-create with you. Co-create with you. We want to pay attention to it, because when we don't pay attention to it, we live a life in survival mode. When we live a life in survival mode, we're not creating. When we're not creating, we're not being channels of life expressions into this dimension. And when we're not doing all of that, then we suffer even more. So the question is, how is staying better than your authentic self, better than aligning? How is that better? And it might be better. Those are prompts for journaling. I don't know. Who knows? It's all about digging in. But if staying is keeping you out of congruency with yourself, out of integrity with yourself, if staying means you're betraying yourself, then how is betraying yourself better than the suffering or the pain or the grief that you might have to walk through when you leave the relationship? Just want to leave that there for you. Okay. We're here doing what? We're here exchanging, put it in the comments. Like, how do you feel about this? Like, how do you feel about this words that I'm saying? If are there any questions here that you want to use as a prompt? Because a lot of times what we need in order to dive into all of these big decisions and emotions is just break things down. And a lot of times breaking it down is conversations like this, like the one that I'm having with you, right? That are prompting other feelings and other ideas that our ego always hides. And sometimes we are not accessing them easily. Yeah. So I hope this conversation helped you prompt many reflections about your life, about yourself, about that relationship that you are afraid of living. And you consider working through breaking down a lot of those things that are happening through you. Just know that those emotions are not there by accident. Know that your intuitive gut, it's not there by accident, and that it is time of alignment. Whether staying or leaving, betraying yourself is not an option anymore. Whether staying or leaving, living out of integrity is not an option anymore. Whether you stay or leave, postponing your highest potential, it's not an option anymore. I don't care if you're 60, 70, 80. I don't care if you just had a baby. I don't care if you're 16 or 20. I'm not saying that you need to make a decision and do something. When I mean I don't care is that the price of staying is too high if it's robbing you from the peace of mind of living in integrity. And that's the question that we want to ask ourselves. That's what we want to try to digest and put out. Okay. I hope this was helpful. Come into Luna's membership, sign up to my newsletter, come into the waiting list for Conscious Woman Roadmap. Follow me on Instagram. Let's stay connected and comment below. Of course, subscribe first and foremost, but comment below if this hit you in any right place and if it was powerful and helpful for you. Thank you.